you guys? How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. I hope you can hear me because I'm streaming from my house, which I usually don't do. I just got new internet. So let me know if it sounds okay. Also, yesterday we were going to do this live, and then for the third time, my bathroom flooded. And this time it was horrible, you guys. I went next door to get my computer, and I came back to the house. And as soon as I opened the front door, I heard water running. So I ran with my computer and my phone in my hands. And when I got to the bathroom, the floor was like an inch of water at that point, and my feet slid out from under me and I fell straight on my back. I had to run outside. I couldn't get the water off. I had to dig with my hands to turn it off outside because the nozzle thing was covered with dirt. Oh my God, it was a whole thing. So that is why this live is happening now and not yesterday. But anyways, good morning, you guys, and happy Friday, and thank you for being here. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Mayla's mom. Hey, Adrienne. Crime Watch Lover. Hey, Claudia. Roxanne. True Crime Crazy. Hey, Pretty Bug. Hey, Tabitha. Tammy, good to see you. Hey, Rexy. Lil Red. Stevie's mom. Amanda. Gemini Crime Online. Hey, KK. Sherry. Deline. Claudia, Riley, Mama 4. Thank you guys for being here. Hey, K-Braze. So today we're just kind of getting back into the swing of things after a couple of days off. So I thought that I have a few cases I want to talk about, and that's just what we're going to do on this one. And then I have lots of things planned. Stevie's mom, I am so excited because, okay, so I was getting like 0.3 megabytes per second using my parents' internet, which is so slow, which is why when we tried to do Adam Montgomery's hearing the other day and stuff, it wouldn't work. But my neighbor who has Starlink, she gets like 27. And yesterday when they left here and they tested, I was getting 100 megabytes per second. So it should be much faster. So I'm really excited. The possibilities are endless. Hey, preschool granny. But anyways, okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First, I want to talk to you about this case. I'm going to pull up a couple articles. Then we're going to talk a little bit about Chad Doerman. I want to talk about a YouTube situation. This is just so fascinating to me. Profile and Evil did a live. One of his subscribers, so Mike is a retired law enforcement officer. One of his subscribers had reached out believing their husband was bridge guy in Delphi, but they ended up taking the life of their own son and calling him from jail to talk about it. And I want to show just a little bit of him talking about that. You watched that this morning, Mayla's mom? That is freaking crazy, is it not? Hey, Shay. Hey, Linda. That was a good live, said Roberta. I thought that was very interesting. Hey, Lisa, good morning. But we're going to start with this case. So this is the first article, and I have a couple from Law and Crime. It says, from the pageant stage 2 behind bars, beauty queen accused of killing 18-month-old baby. Now, I just want to say this is the second case we've went over in the last week or two of dad's girlfriend taking the life of dad's baby. And it just infuriates me. Hey, don't want to sell you a lemon. Have you guys heard of this one yet? A lot of times in true crime news, we do cases that I haven't seen anywhere. I have seen this like a couple places by now. So I'm curious if you guys have. So beauty queen Trinity Pogue, I don't know how to say her last name, and I know I've listened to it. We'll hear it probably in a moment. She's facing murder charge in the death of an 18-month-old boy, according to GBI. A beauty queen turned in her tiara for a gel jumpsuit after Georgia authorities arrested her in connection with the death of an 18-month-old boy. Trinity, 18, is facing charges of felony murder, aggravated battery, and first-degree cruelty to children. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation said in a press release. On January the 14th, the Georgia Southwestern State University Police Department contacted the GBI about the death of a child. The unresponsive boy was taken to the emergency room at Phoebe Sumner Hospital in Americus. Doctors tried to save him, but he later died. After multiple interviews and an examination of the evidence, GBI agents arrested Trinity. Officers took her to the jail on Friday, where she remains with no bond set. Cops did not say how the boy died or detail the events that led up to his death. This was from last week, this article. Or they're talking about Friday of last week, I'm assuming. Let me see. Because I made 4 days ago. Because I've been holding on to it for a few days by now. Let me see. Cops did not say how the boy died or detail the events that led up. Did not release his name nor her relationship to the boy. Once the investigation will be given to the Southwestern Judicial Circuit District Attorney's Office for prosecution, GBI said. Trinity was crowned Miss Donaldsonville, Georgia in 2023. She went on to compete at the National Peanut Festival beauty pageant last fall, but she did not place. Win or lose, I have gained the world throughout my reign as Miss Donaldsonville, she wrote on her Instagram page after the pageant. To me, that is the best thing Jesus could ever do for me. He blesses me in every single way. The National Peanut Festival title wasn't the crown I was meant to wear. I walked away still being the lovely, comical achiever, Miss City girl that I've always been. In this experience, I learned and won gratitude. That is all I have throughout this experience. Her Instagram account says she enrolled at Georgia Southwestern State University in August. The local news reported she graduated high school from Southwest Georgia Prep School in Damascus. This happened in the dorm room, you guys. Hey, Aunt Diane. I don't think it was in that article. In one of the upcoming videos. So let's just switch tabs for just a second. Reigning Miss Donaldsonville faces life for child's death. Bond is no sure thing. Just a few months ago, Trinity Pogue was an honor student and pageant winner with a promising future. She is now an accused killer clad in jailhouse clothes who could spend the remainder of her life behind bars. She has no bond, and there is no assurance one will be set. Authorities are holding her without bond on charges of felony murder, aggravated battery, and cruelty to children charges. GBI accused her, a National Peanut Festival pageant contestant, of killing an 18-month-old toddler last week. The investigation indicates an unresponsive 18-month-old boy was admitted to the emergency room. After multiple interviews and an examination of the evidence, GBI arrested her. So he was admitted to the emergency room in Americus, Georgia. The statement did not disclose her relationship to the boy, but she has no children. Only a Georgia superior judge can set an appearance bond. Court records do not reflect a motion for such a hearing, though one is almost inevitable. Okay, so let me come here. This is just a really quick video on the local news. Let's see.
There is new information tonight in the death of a little boy and the pageant queen charged with his murder. Authorities say Miss Donaldsonville killed that toddler in a dorm room at the college she attends. News 4's Bayla Walker live in the newsroom to explain these developments in this case that is receiving worldwide attention. Bayla, what's the latest?
Yeah, Kinsley, a Georgia coroner says the 18-month-old toddler suffered blunt force trauma to his head. Pageant queen Trinity Pogue is charged with murder. She's a freshman at Georgia Southwestern University in Americus, Georgia. Now, the county coroner says that's where the boy suffered his injuries. Just 3 months after competing in Dothan's Miss National Peanut Festival pageant, Pogue is now in jail in Sumter County.
In the dorm room, you guys. Unbelievable.
Georgia. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation charged Pogue with aggravated assaults and cruelty to children. And Kinsley, as for the boy who died, there's some confusion about his name. Coroner Mathis Wright tells us his birth certificate lists him as Romeo Angles, but the boy's dad, who investigators did not charge, named him Jackson Drew. Newsweek, major networks, and European publications posted this story after News 4 broke it first on Saturday. Kinsley?
A heartbreaking case. Bayla Walker, thank you.
So I don't know. That's kind of strange as well about the birth certificate. I don't have the answers for that, but hey, Collada Hope. I think that we'll probably hear more as things develop. I also have another video, and we can watch it. This is from Law and Crime. Let's just watch a minute or two of it, and then we'll move forward to our next article, which is going to be about Chad Doerman. But I will share this link. I'm going to press play just a little bit. I'll link it in the chat so you can save it if you want to watch it, and then we'll move on to the next one. Mayla's mom, nope, I do not. I do not. It's kind of just, things are just starting to shake out from it. Honestly, for the first couple of days that I had seen about it, every article that I found was very brief. There was not many details to anything. Queen Bella says, incredibly sad. Can't even imagine getting that upset with a child. Me either. And it's just, this is, like I said, the second one we've heard of in the last 2 weeks of dad's girlfriend taking the life of dad's baby. And oh God, can you imagine how the mom feels? I don't know. Hey, Music City mom. Little Rid, something is weird. What's the child's name? Yeah, that is weird. And I don't know. Let's see what we can grab from this. I'm going to link it in the chat once it starts playing, but we'll watch a minute or two of it just to.
It made them run and arrest her and get her off the streets.
From beauty queen to alleged murderer, this Georgia teenager is now accused of killing an 18-month-old toddler
Look at
during her
him.
She's a kid still. 18 is young.
There's still many unanswered questions.
Dad had
in
full
the case of
custody, Queen Bella
18-year-old
says.
Trinity Madison
Teacup.
Pogue. Like, how did she know the young boy
Sure.
was killed? But what we do know is that before she posed for this mugshot, she was posing for pageant photos like this one after being crowned Miss Donaldsonville in 2023.
So, of course, you're going to have little pageants and you're going to have little things and fairs and food markets and things like that. That's what makes Georgia special. And so that's normal. So, her pageant that she was a Miss Donaldsonville, it seems very normal to me.
Georgia criminal defense attorney Meg Strickler, who's based in Atlanta's Fulton County, says she hadn't even heard of Donaldsonville, a small city about 3 hours south of the capital city, bordering both Florida and Alabama.
Sucking on my straw. It's not far from the line. If you look, state line, because there's Tallahassee.
Not only was Pogue crowned Miss Donaldsonville,
Cray.
she also competed in the Miss National Peanut Festival last year. This year, she was charged with felony murder, aggravated battery, and first-degree cruelty to children in the death of a little boy. Right now, we're still unclear about how she knew the boy or what their relationship is. We do know that there are some pretty serious charges against the defendant here, Trinity Pogue. Does that mean there's some pretty solid evidence to back up this murder charge she's facing?
The way I look at it, yes, there was enough to get to the arrest and hold her in jail with no bond. And no one's filed a motion to set bond yet. Now it's still early. And that's what we're going to do. If I was the lawyer at this point,
Okay, so I don't want us to sit and watch any more of this, but I did link it in the chat. I'm going to link it one more time, and we're going to move on to the next case that I want to talk about this morning, which is Chad Doerman. Now, this is another thing that I can just feel like my face is getting hot because it just reminds me of Adam Montgomery and his recent request for certain things to be kept out of his trial, which, that's pretty standard. They're going to at least try, right? But it's still infuriating to even think about because the things that they're asking to be kept out are pretty big things. So let's get over here and take a look at this. I need to put in another request. So I have several requests in with Claremont County. And we've gotten all of the body cam footage, the CAD notes. If you haven't seen the coverage on that, there is stuff that I don't think I've seen anywhere else that's in those CAD notes and stuff, just descriptions, the officers at the scene, clips. The body cams were out everywhere, but there was one in particular that really wasn't out that many places. Now, I forgot, I did remove the body cam. I have it in a video with commentary, but I removed it when I got that strike or whatever it was for the reuse content. I was worried because a lot of people request these body cam videos and upload them to their channel with no commentary. And I was like, I'm not going to chance it. So I took it down. But later today, I'll share on the community tab some stuff about this for you guys to catch up. But so, hey, Angie, Chad Doerman's lawyers want his confession thrown out, saying police ignored requests for counsel. God, this story just breaks my heart. Okay. So the attorneys of Chad Doerman, the man accused of murdering his 3 sons, have filed a motion to suppress evidence, including an alleged confession, claiming deputies in the Claremont County Sheriff's Office ignored Doerman's request for a lawyer and interrogated him for 3 hours anyway. Officials with the Claremont County Sheriff's Office announced not long after Doerman's arrest that he'd confessed to shooting 4-year-old Hunter, 7-year-old Clayton, and 3-year-old Chase execution style. Despite this, Doerman pled not guilty in court on June 23rd. This happened on June 15th, which is the day that Summer Wells also went missing. And I'll never forget, after it happened, hearing that he was pleading not guilty, because one of the first pieces of news that came out was he confessed. It doesn't matter. Throw out confession. There is so much evidence, says YouTube police. Hey, Neat Noodle. Happy Friday. Hey, JC. This one tears me up. His boys remind me of my 3 boys. Oh, they're so beautiful. It's awful. Hey, Creative Minds. Absolutely awful. Now, Doerman's attorneys claim officers in the Claremont County Sheriff's Office ignored his request for counsel, coerced him during the interrogation, and recorded sessions with medical professionals and his lawyers that should have been private. The motion seeks to stop the state from being able to use statements made by Doerman in the interrogation during trial. It also seeks to suppress any conversations or statements he made to medical professionals while officers were present. From the beginning of Doerman's interactions with Claremont County Sheriff's deputies, his attorneys said his Miranda rights were violated because deputies never had him sign a quote, constitutionally valid waiver of those rights, unquote. Instead, deputies only obtained a verbal affirmation from Doerman that his attorneys said was not an overt waiver. After a detective read Doerman his Miranda rights, the motion says the detective asked if Doerman understood those rights. Mr. Doerman responds, yep, and nods affirmatively, reads the motion. Mr. Doerman is never presented with a written copy of his rights. Then, 5 minutes after that, the motion says Doerman asks for a lawyer. I'll wait for a lawyer, said Doerman, according to the motion. I really don't know. Give me a couple days and let me talk to a lawyer so I can get nice, good answers. Detective says, I understand. Do you have a lawyer? Doerman, we have family lawyers. Detective, who is that? Is there somebody I can call? Doerman, Keith Doerman. Detective, is he related to you? Doerman, yes. Detective, how is Keith related to you? Doerman, my dad, Ruby Franklin. She is in the CIA. Detective, is she a lawyer? Is Ruby a lawyer? Doerman, she's in the CIA. Detective, I know, I heard you say that, but I didn't know maybe if she was a CIA attorney but you said your dad is a lawyer? Doerman, negative. Okay. Negative. We have a family lawyer. Detective. All right. But you don't know who that is? Doerman. No. Let's just pause right there. That is so interesting to me. I just wonder about his state of mind, and we know that he admitted in that confession that he was planning this for months. Hey, Punksy, good morning. Hey, Trio Girl Mom. We know that this particular day, he got his wife and the kids to go lay down and take a nap. And once he got them in the bedroom, this kind of started. He also attempted to shoot towards his stepdaughter as she was running away. She tried to escape with one of the babies. This was a horrific scene. Absolutely horrific. Hey, Jay, it is so disturbing. Hey, Tiff. Good to see you. Can I send you the PDF I have? Yeah, absolutely. If you look on the yellow banner at the bottom of the screen, there's my email. Love you, Tiff. And hey, Tess, good morning. Good to see you guys. Just horrific. But I just wonder about his state of mind. This is weird, right? A family lawyer, aunt in the CIA, dad. I mean, huh? From there, the motion says the detective steps out of the room for roughly 1.5 minutes. When he returns, the motion says the same detective resumed questioning Doerman, as if he hadn't just requested an attorney. According to the motion, the detective continued questioning Doerman for 45 minutes more, when Doerman again mentioned a lawyer. Where's the lawyer? Said Doerman, according to the documents. Detective says, Laura? Doerman, a lawyer. Detective, I don't know. You tell me. The motion says the interrogation of Doerman in total lasted 3 hours, during which he invoked his right to counsel at least twice. There are 3 issues with the interrogation of Chad Doerman, reads the motion. A, the initial waiver. B, Mr. Doerman's request for an attorney during the interrogation. And C, the coercive tactics used by the police. The motion goes on to say that given the circumstances, Doerman's mental condition at the time and detectives' disregard for his request for an attorney, Doerman's confession cannot be considered voluntary. What do you guys think? I understand the detective is pissed off at Chad Doerman, but you can't do that. I feel like the detective was like, he didn't ask for an attorney. He asked, where is a lawyer? Starts talking about having a family lawyer, but he's not straight up saying, no, stop, I want my attorney. This detective, I think, was trying to walk the line of that, which is not smart. Not smart at all. This is important, right? This is pretty important. Especially when it comes to now, they don't want to use the confession at trial and they might get their way, you know. Oh, Adrian, I've missed you guys too. Okay, YouTube police, hold on. Let me grab my phone. I have missed you guys so much. I was really excited yesterday to come on and do that live. And then that's when, I went swimming in the bathroom and it was pretty bad. So I'm just happy to be back as well. Okay, let's see. Doerman document PDF. I got it. Thank you so much. Let me pull this up. Wow, thank you for sending this. Here we go. So let's actually take a look at this. I want you guys to see this. Got to keep emotions out of it and be clinical as an investigator. Not a job for anyone. I don't want him to get away with murder. It was all done on emotion. Here it comes. The motion also alleges while Doerman met with mental health liaison. Well, here we go. Let's just look at the motion. Instead of reading the article about it, now we have it here. It's 18 pages, but that's okay. So, Mr. Doerman moves to suppress statements made to or in the presence of law enforcement officers or their agents for the reasons set out below. Alternatively, he moves in lemon. I know that we've read that a million times, but it doesn't stick. To prevent the admission of said evidence at his trial. 1, the interrogation. All right, let's listen to this. The state divided the video recording of the interrogation of Mr. Doerman into 2 parts. The first video covers the first 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 12 seconds of the interrogation, part 1. The second video covers the next 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 9 seconds of the interrogation, part 2. Detectives immediately detained Mr. Doerman following the events underlying the charges in this case. The interrogation begins with Mr. Doerman in cuffs in an interview room at the sheriff's office. In part 1, Mr. Doerman sits in the interview room for the first 39 minutes before detectives Ross and Ring enter the room. In part 1, at 39 minutes, 52 seconds, Detective Ross reads Mr. Doerman the Miranda warning. Detective Ross asks if Mr. Doerman understands those rights, and he responds yep and nods affirmatively. Mr. Doerman is never presented with a written copy of his rights. The detective never asked Mr. Doerman if he wants to waive those rights. He never asked Mr. Doerman to sign a waiver of those rights. He never obtains a constitutionally valid waiver of those rights. In part 1, at 45 minutes in, 5 minutes later, Mr. Doerman begins an exchange with Detective Ross where he requests a lawyer. And this is what we just read about Keith. Is Keith related to you? My dad. Ruby Franklin, she's in the CIA. Who the family lawyer is. Mr. Doerman tells Detective Ross that he also doesn't think he ever met him before, as Ross had claimed. Ross talks about the previous encounter between them he says occurred. Detective Ross then picks up his belongings, states, I'm going to step out for a minute, okay? All right, you okay, bud? You need anything? Mr. Doerman finally responds with one word, step. Detective Ross then exits the room. Detective Ring asks Mr. Doerman, are you sure you don't want something to eat? Detective Ross re-enters the room at 50 minutes in and reinstates questioning Mr. Doerman as if he hadn't just requested an attorney. Approximately 45 minutes later, Mr. Doerman asks, where's the lawyer? Detective Ross replies, Laura? Mr. Doerman responds, a lawyer. Detective Ross answers, I don't know. You tell me. Detective Ross does not properly address what just happened. He does not even mention the words attorney, lawyer, or counsel, much less re-advise Mr. Doerman of his rights to elicit a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver of those rights. It is the detective's duty as trained law enforcement officers to realize the critical importance of the moment when a suspect invokes his right to counsel. The burden was not on Mr. Doerman to understand how his demands for counsel triggered the detective's duty to stop the interrogation, nor was the burden on Mr. Doerman to resist the detective's attempts to keep him talking. Mr. Doerman invoked his right to an attorney. He unequivocally requested to speak with a lawyer before further questioning. Wow. He had 99 problems, but crime ain't one. In my opinion, he knew whatever he said after asking for a lawyer would be thrown out. He is pure evil, but I don't think he's completely stupid. Jay, he could legit get off because of this. I don't think they need his confession. They have witnesses, probably cameras. Well, no, I don't either. I mean, he took the gun, sat on the front steps, started smoking a cigarette with blood on his shirt. I think that you're right with that. Let's see. Music City Mom says, my husband has 2 more radiation treatments left. He got PSA results from yesterday, and his original one last year was above 50, and this one is 0.2. Yay. I'm happy to hear that, Music City Mom. That is freaking awesome. Before you know it, this will be behind you guys. Hey, Jamie, Texas chick. Wow, I cannot believe this. The interrogation of Mr. Doerman was over 3 hours long. He invoked his right to counsel at least twice. Detectives ignored his request and continued to question him as if he didn't ask for an attorney. A legal analysis. There are 3 issues with the interrogation of Chad Doerman. A, the initial waiver. B, Mr. Doerman's request for an attorney during the interrogation. And C, the coercive tactics used by the police. In both instances, law enforcement officers obtained statements from Mr. Doerman in violation of his 5th Amendment right against self-incrimination, as well as his 6th Amendment right to counsel as applicable under the 14th Amendment and Ohio's analogous rights under its Constitution. In both instances, the burden rests with the prosecution. Then they say Mr. Doerman did not voluntarily waive his Miranda rights. At the beginning of the custodial interrogation in Part 1, Detective Ross failed to procure a constitutionally valid waiver of Mr. Doerman's rights to remain silent and to have counsel provided before he was interrogated. As a result, the prosecution may not use statements obtained through a custodial interrogation that lack the requisite Miranda safeguards. Those safeguards include both advising a suspect of his rights and obtaining a valid waiver of those rights before conducting an interrogation. Unbelievable. Prior to a custodial interrogation, the Fifth Amendment requires that a suspect receive Miranda warnings to protect against self-incrimination. And they cite some other cases. To protect an accused's rights against self-incrimination, prior to any questioning, law enforcement officers must inform an accused that he has the right to remain silent and that anything he says can be used against him in the court of law, that he has the right to the presence of an attorney, and that if he cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for him prior to any questioning if he so desires. No effective waiver of the right to counsel during interrogation can be recognized unless specifically made after the warnings we here delineate have been given. And then they cite a couple other cases. I'm not going to go into that, that have set precedent for what they're trying to get across. I will, however, drop the link to this in the chat so that you guys can look over it a little closer at those things if you'd like to. And thank you so much for sending this to me. To establish an implied waiver, the state must show that a Miranda warning was given and that it was understood by the accused, and the accused's uncoerced statements established an implied waiver of the right to remain silent. In Mr. Doerman's case, the state carries the burden to prove that 1, Detective Ross properly advised Mr. Doerman, and 2, Mr. Doerman understood those rights, and 3, Mr. Doerman's statements were uncoerced. There is not sufficient evidence that Mr. Doerman understood his rights, much less evidence that he impliedly waived his rights after he was confined in a small interrogation room shortly after having guns drawn on him, where he was forcibly placed into custody and was then confronted by first 1 and then 2 senior detectives who joined forces to exploit Mr. Doerman's ignorance of the law, obvious confusion, and mental issues to extract constitutionally tainted statements from him. I still feel like his attorneys are reaching a little bit. Look, these officers show up and find Chad Doerman sitting on his front porch, hey, Carol, and smoking a cigarette with his gun beside of him, and the baby's just laid out in the yard. Now, if you guys remember, the officers were pissed. One of them says, "You have the right to remain silent. I'd effing use it." And we got to see that. And at another point, he kind of smarts off to him again, but imagine these officers are human. I don't know. I don't think that them being angry, having guns drawn on him when he was forcibly placed in custody. Yeah, he was sitting out on his front porch with the gun beside of him and 3 dead children in the yard. I'm sure that's probably why he was forcibly placed into custody with guns drawn. Come on. Okay, let me just keep going. This situation is distinguishable from those who were implied waivers have been found, such in the state more precedent from other cases. Let's see. Doerman also did not affirm he was comfortable and aware of what was going on while he was being interviewed. He was in obvious distress and clearly not right mentally. The state will therefore not meet its burden to establish that Doerman implicitly waived his right to remain silent and right to an attorney. Accordingly, this court should suppress all statements obtained from Mr. Doerman. Then they go into him invoking his right to counsel. When a suspect in custody expresses his desire to deal with the police only through counsel, the suspect is not subject to further interrogation by the authorities until counsel has been made available to him. To invoke the right to have an attorney present during interrogation, a suspect must unambiguously request counsel such that a reasonable officer in the circumstances could understand the statement to be a request for an attorney. However, if the statement is not clear that the person is requesting an attorney, then the officers are not required to stop questioning the suspect. Statements such as, "I think I need a lawyer," have been found not to be an unambiguous and unequivocal request for an attorney. So that's what I think this cop was doing. He was kind of walking that line. Hey, Elizabeth. When there are kids involved, I'm sure it adds an emotional element for Ellie. How can they not think the guy with the weapon did it? Exactly, Tess. The guy sitting on the porch with the weapon beside him, and just imagine showing up to a scene like that. They have given him way too much to work with. The cops seem very amateurish. You need your best investigator for these cases. I agree, Jay. I do. Hey, hippie chick. Here, Mr. Doerman very clearly requested a lawyer. I'll wait for a lawyer. I really don't know. Give me a couple days and let me talk to a lawyer so I can get nice, good answers. Detective Ross responded by saying, "I understand. Do you have a lawyer?" Ross had no problem recognizing the clear and unambiguous exercise of Mr. Doerman's right to a lawyer. Whether or not Mr. Doerman had a lawyer is wholly irrelevant to Ross's duty immediately to cease questioning. If law enforcement had the right to ask the question Ross asked, it would lead to the absurd result that the Miranda right to counsel exists only when the suspect can name a lawyer. A game of gotcha police would rarely lose. Any conversation following Mr. Doerman's invocation of his right to counsel is tainted. Let's see, more case law, which I don't want to get into that, but I just want to see if there's any other little details about this interrogation that we can get from this. 45 minutes later, Mr. Doerman reaffirmed his desire for counsel, asking, "Where's the lawyer?" And then the police responded with, "I don't know, you tell me." Oh, no. This may not be good. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's very interesting. Realizing there has been a request for counsel shortly after the interrogation began, Detective Ross, rather than addressing the issue as required, ignores it. Detective Ross leaves the room briefly, and when he returns, he does not address Mr. Doerman's request, instead reinitiating questioning as if the request had not been made. So Chad says, "Where's the lawyer?" And the officer responds, "I don't know, you tell me." Yeah, that's not good. Tabitha, there were witnesses to what he did. Yes, his wife and her daughter, his stepdaughter. His wife was shot in the hand trying to protect her babies. And the stepdaughter was trying to get away with one of them. And he stopped, pointed a gun at him, tried to fire it, didn't go off. And she was able to get away, but he got the baby from her, and he also fired shots in her direction as she ran towards the fire department. Then they go into coercive tactics. Let's see what this is. Clearly unconscionable police actions, such as denying water, sleep, beating out a confession, threatening to take away a suspect's children if they did not confess, etc., have been found to be grounds for suppression as involuntary confessions. Such overtly illegal conduct is not involved here. Counsel understands that Miranda's safeguards were designed to combat the inherent coerciveness of custodial interrogation. However, the individual circumstances of a suspect can make some, perhaps less obviously, coercive conduct cross the line and the resulting confession involuntary. It is submitted that the totality of the circumstances here, including Mr. Doerman's mental condition, show that the detective's actions overcame his will and his admissions were therefore involuntary. Mr. Doerman's police recorded statements. He was investigated He was arrested, and interrogated June 15th, 2023, hours after the shooting. Following his interrogation, he was booked into Claremont County Jail. Soon after entering the jail, he was seen by various healthcare providers, including nurses and a mental health liaison social worker, Renee, who questioned him and whom he communicated ostensibly for medical, including mental health purposes. The officers Claremont County Sheriff's Office officers actively made themselves present by entering Mr. Doerman's jail cell with his healthcare providers for some of these privileged communications and recorded them. On June 16th at 9:45, a CCSO officer recorded Mr. Doerman going to municipal court for his initial appearance. At court, he was interviewed by the Assistant Public Defender Owen Kelm, who found him eligible for representation by the public defender's offices, discussed the charges, advised, and then represented Mr. Doerman that morning before the judge. Attorney Kelm's interactions with Doerman in a small room adjacent to the courtroom were not conducted in private. They were conducted in the presence of 5 or 6 deputies and video recorded by the body-worn camera. Later that day, another officer named Melissa video recorded a conversation between Mr. Doerman and Renee Butcher, the social worker, who is the mental health liaison. Oh my God almighty. Mr. Doerman submits that it violates his 14th Amendment right to due process, 4th Amendment right to privacy, 6th Amendment right to counsel, and 5th Amendment right to self-incrimination. I will not be surprised if they do keep the confession out. It's unfortunate. I wish that police would think about these things and do things by the book so that these kind of these things don't pop up. Let me check on you guys. There's always so much that they don't allow in a trial anyway. If he remains silent, they would still have plenty of other things to take him to trial. That is true. And it's pretty standard for them to ask for things to be kept out. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it might work. We saw with Adam Montgomery. I don't think it's going to work as successfully as this might. Hey, Shaker Maker. Hey, Thistle. Hey, Paris, good to see you. I have missed you guys. We're going to get back into the swing of things. Let me just see through here. A Miranda violation. They also go into that. Maybe I'll do a recording of just reading straight through the paperwork. Now we have police coercion. The police, by inserting themselves into what should have been private, confidential discussions between Doerman and his healthcare providers, coerced Doerman into submitting to their presence. Essentially, the CCSO forced him into a choice between receiving no health care or allowing police to be present. Right to counsel violation. Yeah, I think I'll do a recording reading through all the documents so you guys that want to hear every bit. But let me go ahead and drop it in the chat because I want to talk about just a couple other quick things before we go today. Come on now. Copy. So if you all want to read through them, the link that's coming right now, you can read through them. Let me see. I thought I had some pictures of the boys in my overlays, but I may have taken them down. Yeah, I did. Okay, so the next thing I want to get into today, just a couple other things quickly. So first of all, I'm going to pull up my Instagram because I want to show you guys this. And I have two little quick videos. So, Koberger's back in court, and Ahmaud Arbery's killers have an appeal hearing in March. So let me play that because I actually need to go pee really fast. And then I want to read you a story from Instagram, and then I'm going to share this YouTuber subscriber story with you guys. Okay.
More in state news tonight. The men convicted in connection to the murder of Ahmaud Arbery are trying to appeal their federal hate crime convictions. Those three men, father and son Greg and Travis McMichael, and their neighbor William Roddy Bryan. Arbery was jogging when he was shot and killed in a Brunswick neighborhood 3 years ago. Both McMichaels received life prison sentences in the case, while Bryan was sentenced to 35 years in prison. A court of appeals has scheduled oral arguments in the case for March 27th in Atlanta.
Okay. That's a case that I followed pretty closely. That was horrific. Ahmaud Arbery was an African-American teenager who was hunted. He was hunted, in my opinion. So you are to check your text for cuteness overload. Okay, I will do it. Okay, so also a couple other things really quick. Let me go to here. So trigger warning, even though this is true crime, but still, sometimes I feel a little ridiculous doing the trigger warning. I think that we should expect that it's going to be unpleasant. The Neighborhood Talk, though, shared this story, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So it says, neighbors, get in here for this crazy SHIT. A woman in Pennsylvania is behind bars and facing multiple charges after allegedly filming herself torturing and killing animals. She uploaded the disturbing clips to her YouTube channel. According to the Seattle Times, Inigar Monsi, 28, was arrested last Friday and charged with 4 felony counts of aggravated cruelty to animals. She posted at least 4 videos involving the killings of frogs, a rabbit, a pigeon, and a chicken. She ended up getting busted after representatives from PETA located her by gathering clues from comments left on her YouTube channel and from some of her videos. According to investigators, Anigar would request likes and engage with YouTube viewers before she began torturing an animal. In one 49-minute-long video, she is reportedly seen torturing a pigeon and cutting its head off, while viewers praise her in the comment section and make requests for future content. In some instances, she allegedly mutilated some of the animals, even severing their necks with a dull knife, a process that could take several minutes, the affidavit states. She is currently in custody on a $20,000 bail, and her next hearing is set for February 5th. Unbelievable. And people watching and requesting this. I mean, what? I don't know. I do not understand that. Let me see. Now, okay, so like I mentioned in the beginning of the live, Profiling Evil, it's a guy named Mike, and he's retired law enforcement. He shared, let me just show you like a couple clips from this video. We're going to just watch the beginning, like first 5 seconds. Then I'm going to skip into like 5 minutes in. But okay, so basically this subscriber of his that was always joining the live chats and stuff like that had reached out to him by email and said that she believed her husband to be, she definitely would have moved on to people, Jamie. She believed her husband to be the bridge guy from Delphi. And he encouraged her to go to law enforcement, but she ended up taking the life of her son and also shooting at her husband. And then calling him from jail to talk about it. Hey, Nana Banana. Hey, JC. I know. It's crazy. Well, I've already said hi to you, JC. I don't know why I said hi when I was reading your comment. I'm sorry. But I was reading this comment. The fact that people request it is even worse. Ugh. Okay. So I'm going to share the link to this. But like I said, we're going to just listen to a little bit of it. I want you guys to go watch it over there in full. But
well, this mom murdered her 7-year-old son and then called me from jail wanting to talk about it. Stick around and I'll tell you what happened in this case that I've remained mum about for almost 3 years. Like and subscribe button. I think it's right here now. And make sure you're ringing the bell so you get all of our notifications. And please consider a member. She was reaching out to me needing help. Now, many of you who have been with Profiling Evil from the start are going to recognize her hashtag. She went by Good Golly, Ms. Molly. She was alongside many of you, and she was on so many of our chats as she chatted with all of you on different things that we were talking about. Now, her email stated that she had concerns that our mods had put her in timeout. She was pretty darn engaged at the time, but it sounds like she from time to time. Well, as her emails continued,
and there she is.
she began sharing concerns with me that were really disturbing. Concerns that she believed her husband was the bridge guy from the Delphi murder cases. Now, I hope that this goes without saying, but that's when I put on the brakes and I stopped our discussions.
Okay, so I'm going to drop the link in chat. We're going to watch just another minute or two more, but I want you guys to watch it over there. And I have to tell you something. Okay, so this morning I was like not in the coffee mood, so I went to drink these energy drinks I had gotten from Amazon because they have pure cane sugar. I'm trying not to have like sucralose or high fructose corn syrup. All the chemical sweeteners, they're just not good for you. But so anyways, I used as ice frozen watermelon and cantaloupe. And then after I drank the little energy drink from that I got offline, I filled it back up with strawberry lemonade. And so it's like strawberry lemonade and the ice cubes are frozen watermelon and cantaloupe. And oh my gosh, it is so delicious. You guys should try that. I've used like frozen strawberries out of the bag for ice for my strawberry lemonade for a long time. And it is so good. But this is even better. So definitely try it if you got any frozen fruit. Jay says, what a head case. This is what happens when you stay on YouTube 24/7. Yeah. Okay. Also, I have these little alcohol wipes that are lavender wipes. Oh my gosh, they smell so good. I'll have to share the link with you guys. They're really good. Like I just use them to clean my hands, but also I'll use them for electronics and stuff. Okay. All right. Let's keep listening for a moment. Hey, Bodine.
Advising her that she needed to reach out to local law enforcement and talk to them about it. Specifically, she needed to reach out to the Indiana State Police with her concerns. Now, if any of you have sent concerns or tips on stuff that was going on, you probably had the same response from me. I want to stop there for a minute and just chat about this. And again, remember back in those early days, we were doing a lot of discussion about the Delphi murder.
Okay, let me just share this link. And then Nana, yeah, heard the truck. Did you see everyone freak out at Reese Witherspoon for making an iced coffee with snow? She's in Nashville and did it on TikTok. People freaked out at her. Oh, I can imagine. I didn't see it, but I don't think I would want it. I'm not eating snow either because of the acid rain and all that stuff. No energy drinks, people. Either have coffee or tea. No steroid. Well, this was like a more, it's like it's like a more natural energy drink. It doesn't have all the chemicals and stuff. It's basically just caffeine, cane sugar, and natural flavors. I use lavender in my hand sanitizer and for cleaning with vinegar. Yeah, I love it. It just, I don't know. It's relaxing even just using them. When you pull it out, it just, the smell, I don't know. It makes you feel good or something. Your electronics may get too relaxed with lavender. Did you see Elle King at the Dolly tribute? I didn't see it, but I have heard about it. I need to watch it. I'm pretty much done with the true crime news today. I didn't have anything else. I will pull up Crime Online, though, just to see if there's anyone missing and maybe we want to share. I shared a community post this morning from Chasing Truth of a missing mom from North Carolina. But here is the link for Profiling Evil's video. That way you guys can watch it there. I just thought that was a really interesting story. Let me see. Crime Online. Oklahoma State trooper hit by driver while conducting. Oh my God. Look at that. Freaking scary. Sorry, I guess I'm out of my drink. Okay, let's see. How are you guys watching that Jennifer Dulos trial from the other woman? I remember following this story a long time ago, but I haven't been keeping up with it now. And also, I haven't kept up with this Chiefs game story either. Have you guys been following that? Missing Florida woman found dead day after husband's pickup truck found on fire. Update, sex offender's severed head and limbs found in woman's freezer. Wow. Okay. Road rage shooter convicted of killing 6-year-old boy. Oh my God. Kentucky parents charged in shooting death of tot boy. Toddler abandoned at Virginia home. Oh, a Wisconsin boy who is 14 will stand trial as an adult. Lily Peters, accused killer, who is her cousin, who is now 15. Did you guys follow that? It looks like there's an update in that case, and he's going to be tried as an adult. Teen murder suspect escapes custody at Philadelphia hospital. Brian Koberger seeks again to have his indictment dismissed. Idaho dad bites newborn girl with COVID. Violently shakes her around. Oh my God. Here, we'll end with this one. I want to read this. Idaho dad another case in Idaho, and we already know that, these death penalty cases, there's not a lot of attorneys. Let's see. Jen, I talked to her this morning, Stevie. She is finishing up that video, and we're definitely going to continue as soon as we get them. We're just waiting, so I can't wait. Uh-oh. Alleged dad. Yeah. Okay. I almost accidentally ended the stream. I accidentally clicked the end stream button. It just thankfully didn't. Must have not clicked it hard enough or something. So an Idaho man will spend decades behind bars. Okay. For the 2021 death of his 2-month-old daughter. He was just sentenced, according to Kootenai County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. Dylan Dwight Towles was sentenced to 50 years in state prison for second-degree murder. A news release provided by the attorney's office stated the incident happened on September 18th, 2021. He called 911, said the baby wasn't breathing. First responders arrived and found the victim lying face up and unresponsive on the floor. Police noted that during life-saving measures, they noticed bruising around the baby's cheek, a bruise on her right leg, and bite marks on her left forearm, left ankle, and below her knee. She was rushed to the hospital, but subsequently passed away. He later admitted he became frustrated and bit the baby and then shook her around 20 times. When asked about the observed injuries, he claimed that he bit the child, shook her, quote, pretty violently, unquote, approximately 20 times, and, quote, played with her legs, unquote, in an attempt to gain a response from the child after she suddenly became unresponsive. Unbelievable. The medical examiner's office said she had blunt force injuries to her neck, head, torso, new and old injuries, including a brain hemorrhage. She also tested positive for COVID-19. Well, no, I'm not muted. Never muted. I don't know what happened. I guess I cut out for a minute. Hey, Patricia. Well, that's okay. I was reading through that article, but I'm going to wrap it up there anyways. But that sucks. I wonder why my sound cut out. I was never muted, and the internet appears to be pretty strong. So, that is weird. I did not break my muting streak, okay? We're not changing the date. Tomorrow is 2 weeks. We cannot change it now. Here's the story for this, though, that I read out loud that you guys couldn't hear. That sucks. But thank you guys for being here. I missed you guys. I did. And Nana, we will be back soon. We got lots of other things. Can I post it? Yes, Tess, that would be awesome. To the judge's YouTube channel. BK has a hearing today. I think it's at 11 Idaho time, right? So 2 here, and he's asking for the indictment to be thrown out again. But yeah, I wonder why you guys couldn't hear me. Yeah, don't take that 2 weeks now. I was thinking about that when we started. I was like, one more day. All right, you guys, thank you for being here. I hope you have a lovely day. I will see you soon. I have lots of things planned. So yeah, I can't wait to talk to you guys in the future. I'm going to go take care of some stuff. I have to run to the pharmacy and do a couple other things. I'll check in with you guys on Patreon. I plan on doing something over there. Maybe we can do something sometime today, just a little hangout and get back into the swing of things. So yeah, thank you to my mods. I love and appreciate you guys so much. Thank you to the chat. I've missed you, and I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.